Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So today's video is on a story that is so crazy, and when I came across it, I was shocked, appalled, horrified, and really mad, which is, I guess, a perfect storm for a YouTube video, but anyways. So I have never wanted to snatch the weave of anyone more than this transgender beauty influencer named Sofia Talouni. Now, Sofia is a beauty vlogger from Turkey who has amassed 600,000 plus followers on her verified Instagram account, and she is in very hot water recently for using this very large platform to out gay men living in Morocco and have them hunted down. She basically went live and encouraged her female followers to create fake gay online dating profiles to lure the gay men amongst them, living amongst them, into revealing that they're gay, to have them hunted down and arrested. Because one thing that's very important to note before we go any further is that it is illegal to be gay in Morocco. That is a reality that I feel like a lot of people living in the Western world they're not really able to wrap their heads around, because, you know, they're very much behind, and we're very much enveloped in the current discourse in 2020 in the Western world with LGBT issues, and we kind of forget that there are segments of the world that are much further behind than us. So again, it is illegal to be gay in Morocco, and it is punishable by up to 3 years in prison, which, you know, I'm not going to put on the cultural relativist hat for this, because I feel like any country that imprisons someone for an innate sexual orientation, there is something obviously wrong with that culture. And in Morocco, homophobia is actually very, very rampant. So why, you might ask, does this transgender woman, Sofia, think that she is somehow above gay men and thinks that they're dirty and wants them to get arrested? I'm going to read some quotes that she made, and then we're going to watch these disgusting videos. Here's what Sofia has to say about gay men. I feel bad for some fat, but I don't really care. She denounced gay men as fat losers who should thank God just for the fact that they are able to walk down the street. She called them dirty. So clearly, she's a very disgusting person, and we're going to deep dive into the psychology of why there is this combativeness among gay men and trans women that I feel like no one ever talks about. And obviously this is a very extreme case, but I do feel it's a microcosm for something that happens even in the Western world, and we're going to get into that because I have a lot to say. But first, let's watch Sofia's videos.
في الشارع وكتساراو كيما بغيتو وكتمشاو كيما بغيتو، حمد الله وشكروه يا الوابا الفاشلين. انا الى لقيت بانهم معترفين في المغرب بالمثليه، انا اول وحده اللي غادي نوض ومسخين وغتعترفوا بالمثليه عندنا في البلاد.
I'm wondering why Sofia feels like she is somehow above gay men to be able to talk about this and that, because shockingly, or maybe to you shockingly, Sofia, much of the world views you as a I'm a trans woman, and much of the world views me as a I grew up being called a by everyone in my hometown. So I'm struggling to find your lack of empathy for even talking about folks that way, when again, in the eyes of many, you're also a Not saying I think that, but that's the tea. So here is Sofia instructing her female followers to make fake gay profile dating apps to lure out the gay men and then have them arrested.
كاينين ثلاثه بعدا دايرين بوم. بلانيت روميو، عقلوها البنات. بلانيت روميو، جريندر، وهورنيت. هادو ثلاثه ديال لي زابليكاسيون. سجلوا مزيان. غتمشيو لابل ستور وغتنزلوا هاد لي زابليكاسيون. راسكم راكم تفرتوها بان راجلك راه سيد رجال، وبان راه ساتركم ما نعرف شنو، وزيدوا زيد. غتدخلوا لهاد لي زابليكاسيون. هاد لابليكاسيون كتعطيك دوك الناس اللي قرابين ليك 100 متر 200 متر غير متر. فتنتمنى منكم ان شاء الله غدا تعطيوني ان شاء الله لا 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 شنو اكتشفتوا، وشكون اللي حصلت راجلها، وشكون اللي حصلت.
So I don't have to tell you that this is just morally reprehensible. Like, you know, on a very basic fundamental level, snitches get ditches, obviously. And when you're talking about something as serious as going to jail for being gay for 3 years, to have this trans woman who feels like she's somehow elevated above that and wants to see people who are frankly similar to her hurting and punished for who they are is really just disgusting. And it really highlights that in a lot of these countries, being trans is seen as something way different than being gay. Like, the cultural view on being gay is, in some of these countries, worse than being trans, even though in the Western world we've seen kind of trans lag behind the gay acceptance. It's actually the opposite in certain countries. So what was the fallout from Sofia's monstrous actions? Well, within the 2-week period that followed Talouni's social media call, 50 to 100 gay men have been outed in Morocco. Dozens of gay men have been kicked out of their houses, blackmailed, and threatened. Here's the real awful part, and why I feel like if anyone needs to be in prison, it's Sofia. The news reported that at least 2 gay men who were included in this outing have committed suicide. That's the reality of it in these countries. This is why I speak out about how so much of the debate we have about LGBT issues in the Western world is futile and dumb, because there are things still happening like this. Now, I don't have to tell you that what Sofia did was wrong, right? Like, I don't think there's a person watching this that isn't disgusted by her actions. What I would like to do a bit of a deep dive on is how I believe this is a bit of a microcosm for something that's happening all over the world, even the Western world, between trans people, specifically trans women and gay men. Now, there has always been this weird tug of war between gay men and trans women, which I've never personally understood, because frankly, my best friends throughout my life have always been gay men. My current best friend right now, JC Monduix, is gay, and I don't know, I'm always just very compatible best friend rights with gay men. I am. And what I think is happening here, right, is that I'm not a therapist, but I would say that it seems to me as if Sofia is probably so horrified that much of the world still views her as a gay man. Even in countries like the US, where trans people are much more accepted, a very large chunk of people just view us as gay men, right? So I think she has such a deep self-hatred for the fact that she is viewed that way, and how she may even in some ways feel that way, that she wants other gay men to be punished. I've also seen the weird tension coming from gay men towards trans women. Something that I've always, noticed is that I feel like a lot of gay men don't understand why the T is included in the LGBT, because it's not a sexual orientation, and some gay men confuse being trans for being a sexual orientation and have a hard time understanding why trans women get straight guys, and how the guys that we get are the same kind of guys they get, because a lot of gay men like straight men. It's a very strange relationship, and anyone who's in the community, you know what I'm talking about. Like, don't act like you don't. I'm just spilling the beans that no one else seems to ever want to talk about, and it's just a weird, complicated situation. So Talouni had her Instagram banned for this, which I am very thankful for. Obviously, if you're gonna use it in a way that hurts people like that, like, thank God you're banned. But she's still present on other social media platforms like YouTube, and has a new Instagram page apparently. One thing that I hope this story brings to light is just some perspective on how LGBT people are treated in countries like this, in Morocco and many, many others, because honestly, I think it's just something that a lot of LGBT people are not super aware of. I mean, I think they have a baseline understanding that things are behind in certain countries, but it's really not that much of a common knowledge. And even I obviously can't grasp the full scope of what life is like in some of these countries, but I will say that one thing I'm very thankful for is that over the past 4 years of doing this YouTube channel, it's enabled me to be connected with people all across the world with so many different varying stories, so many different conditions, living in different places. And so I'm someone who, thankfully, you guys have never let me forget what life is like in some of these countries, because you guys tell me your stories. I've done videos about it before, but it's just really, really crazy. And I just really want to instill in people that while we're over here talking about trans bathrooms and do all genders get their period and 97 genders and blah, 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 there are people really going through it to where they can't even leave their house being themselves. And a lot of these countries, yeah, being gay is illegal, but also being suspected of being gay is enough to convict these people and put them in prison. It's like there are straight men suffering under these laws as well in many of these countries, because maybe they're a bit more effeminate, something very natural that occurs in a lot of men, straight or gay. They're suspected of being gay, and they're arrested, and they are sometimes even worse than arrested. And again, a lot of people don't know this, but in a lot of these countries where being gay is explicitly illegal, being trans is not. And being trans is almost like higher on the totem pole in some people's minds than being gay, because at least trans people are assimilating, subjectively into straight life and straight culture. And so they're seen as higher than gay men who exist in that gay culture. And I've seen this mentality transfer over even here in the US, where I have been around trans women who act like they're just so disgusted by certain gay men and this, that, and it's just like, baby, I don't get it. And unfortunately, it's the mentality that leads to stuff like this Sofia person who, girl, you better be thankful you live in a different country than me, ho. Interesting story that I feel like highlights this very well is I was once at a birthday dinner for a friend who is a gay man. All of his friends are gay men, so it was me and 12 gay men at a table, right? And they started talking about this trans woman who's very well known in LA, and they were just dogging her. They're basically saying, I don't know why straight guys like her. She looks like a man, but she thinks she's better than us because she can get whatever. It's just like, I couldn't even believe that was a conversation that was happening, and it wouldn't have been happening probably if they knew that I was trans sitting with them. And I was just like, oh my God, this divide is so weird and so annoying. I'm not offended by it, but I'm also just annoyed by it, because it's like, can everyone just get it together? So moral of the story is, please educate yourself and get a little bit of perspective on what life for LGBT people is really like in most of the world. And maybe we can, kind of bring our very hysterical and nonsensical debates about LGBT issues to a bit of a common ground in a flat area where we're able to say, you know what? Maybe things aren't that bad. And also gay men and trans women, let's get it together and end this weird little feud that is happening between some of us, not all of us. Make sure you guys subscribe to this YouTube channel. I know this is not the first video you've watched. I know you're gonna watch probably 4 or 5 more. Just join the family. I don't have friends, so I kind of need subscribers. Make sure you guys follow me on Instagram, Twitter, and now TikTok. I post on there way more than I do on YouTube, so you gotta follow those to keep up with me. And I love you guys, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye, guys.